Hi everyone, welcome. Are you a mom that is feeling like you are falling prey to parental alienation with your adult child? And so if that's you today, we're going to talk about that. But first, for those of you that are brand new to my channel, I just want to welcome you. My name is Sally Harris, and I'm a mom who walked a difficult road with my own daughter for over a decade. And while her life spiraled, so did mine. And it does not have to be that way. So let's dive into this topic here today. You know, typically when we hear about parental alienation, we automatically think of younger kids and how this happens so many times during divorce when our kids are little. And sometimes it's very intentional by one parent, and sometimes it is not always as intentional as we think. But for today's topic, obviously we're speaking about adult children here. So this could be the result of something from, when your son or daughter was younger and maybe their father, alienated you against the child against you. So maybe it started back when they were young, but maybe what I've been hearing more of lately is this is happening. Dads are coming back into the children's lives, right? Sometimes that's good, sometimes it's not. But sometimes the dad coming back into the life, maybe there's been a lot of upheaval throughout the years, the teen years, all of that. But the point is, now the child, your son or daughter, is a grown adult. And many times, obviously this video is for mom. So in this case, the dad is alienating the child against you. He's bad-mouthing you. He is, encouraging him your son or daughter to reject contact from you. Making false accusations, maybe about what you did in the past, or maybe about what's going on in your life right now. Just a lot of negative comments. And we all know when we are surrounding ourselves with people who are continually being negative about a situation or a person, it does wear off on you, right? And if your son or daughter is already struggling in other areas of their own life, this just compounds the problem. And so what I've been hearing from a lot of you is that dad's coming back into their life, sometimes for the first time, sometimes for the first time in a long time, or now they're trying to play a part because many of you are dealing with, sons or daughters that are not wanting to launch their life. They're wanting to just hang out and not work and, play video games, and they're doing these things with dad. That's what I've been hearing a lot of lately. So I wanted to address that. And so how do you handle that? So we know the awareness of parental alienation. We know how to be aware of that. We know what the symptoms are, right? Like I mentioned. And so it's really important also to think about maybe your adult son or daughter is now back in the life with their dad. And all of a sudden things were fine. But now all of a sudden things are shifting. So that should be an aha moment for you that could be part of the problem, right? It very well could be part of the problem. Maybe there's unexplained changes, like I said, in their behavior or how they treat you or how they speak to you, if they're just really hostile. So what do we do about it? Well, communication and trying to reconnect with your son or daughter. For those of you that are not completely estranged and you still have some contact even in this type of situation, I know this does not apply to everyone here, but it's happening more and more. And so I wanted to address it. And when you are able to communicate with your adult son or daughter and try to reconnect, it's really important to have a non-confrontational mindset. Going into the conversation. Don't be confrontational at all. You want to create that safe environment because you want to think about how they're being fed, in this case, right, from dad. They're being fed this stuff. Many times lies. Maybe they're not lies. Maybe they are things that you've done or things that you've experienced in the past. But all of this stuff is being held against you now, regardless of whether it's true or not. It's being held against you. So you want to create a safe environment for your son or daughter when this applies and you have the opportunity to actually talk to them. Don't be judgmental. Have a safe space for them so they can actually express their concerns or emotions, because if you're on guard, they're going to stay on guard. And we don't want that. So we want to not blame. We don't even want to attack the alienating parent. We don't want to attack dad. Even if you know this is what he's doing, this is not going to benefit you in the long run at all. As many of you know, many of you are divorced, and the worst thing you could ever do, even when your kids are little, is to badmouth dad, because your kids are going to figure things out on their own. If there's an issue with dad, then they're going to grow up and they're going to figure it out. And even in these situations where they're adults, dad comes back in the picture, and here we are. It seems like mom's alienated now, but dad and a lot of times son are off, doing their thing all the time, and mom's feeling completely left out. Well, if there's trouble to be had in that situation, your son or your daughter is going to figure that out eventually. Now, they have to choose if they're going to partake in this stuff or they're not. So in the meantime, while you can create that safe space for them, but until then, you have got to take care of yourself. It hits closer to home when it's maybe it's your ex-husband, or maybe it's your husband, maybe your boyfriend, whatever. You have to prioritize your own self. You have to prioritize your own well-being, because this is not going to go away on its own. You have to stay strong through this, and just know that this is a battle, and this is something that your child and their dad are going to have to work out. And your son or daughter is going to have to figure these things out for themselves. So in the meantime, you need to be taking care of you and reducing your stress, and knowing full well what is happening, because a lot of you do. You come to me and you tell me, I know full well this is what's happening. And I don't disagree with you. It very well could be. But if we know these things, we also know that we can't change them. So I encourage you to find ways to reduce your stress, exercise, journaling, eat well, avoid substances. They are not your friend. They're not going to help you in this matter either. Try new hobbies. Do things and seek any type of, coaching or counseling, whatever you need for yourself. For those of you that I've never chatted with before, if you want help with this or any of these situations with your adult child, I encourage you to reach out to me. There's a discovery call link below, and that's for a one-time call where it's a consultation where I can learn more about what's going on with your situation, and I can share more about how I can help you. So I hope that helps you today and just kind of sets the path for just knowing that you're not alone in this. I promise you, you're not alone. And you may feel that way. And so hopefully this video helps you realize that you're not, and that you can move forward in this, and that just because this is the way things look today, it does not mean things are going to stay this way. Okay? So none of this has gone in vain, and I encourage and I have hope for you and your family. So I'll talk to you soon.